Pound of Flesh by Shembre. Chapter 3.
What did you think you were doing when you let Kovu go off on his own?
Vitani watched anxiously from the side in the cool dark den as her mother laid into Nuka for letting Kovu wander into the Pride Lands. The adolescent cowered before the bristling lioness. You just made your biggest mistake, brother.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
Nuka's eyes widened.
Well, do you think you could shirk your duty? I know, a disgrace!
Zira swatted at Nuka, but when he ducked, she struck loose dirt off the den wall. She snarled angrily.
Now Simba has Kovu, and it's all your fault.
During the tirade, their pride mates had left the den to Zira and her remaining cubs. Vitani was still trying to understand everything that had happened as she watched Nuka crawl to the deeper part of the tunneled den. Why would Simba just take Kovu away? Is he waiting to kill Kovu? Is he going to do it at Pride Rock?
Kovu has gone to live with Simba,
Zira moaned sadly. She fell to the ground and laid with one paw over her face. How can my brother be gone? Is he gone forever? Vitani trotted over and lightly petted her grieving mother's forehead. I don't understand, mother. Why is Kovu with the Pridelanders? Isn't he in danger?
Simba and his lionesses found him and carried him away,
Zira reiterated from before. She raised her head and scratched at the ground with her long claws.
Oh, my poor boy!
Vitani lowered her eyes. You mean he's really never coming back? Isn't he in terrible danger? I still don't...
Nuka snorted from the shadows. Good riddance to that little furball.
Zira noticed Nuka. She stood up, walked over to him and shoved him to the ground.
You're lucky Simba didn't kill him on the spot. This is your fault, Nuka.
She raised her paw to strike him again, but stopped herself.
You're not worth the air you breathe. I can't believe I gave birth to a son like you. I can't believe Scar's blood runs in your veins. He knew you were worthless from the moment he saw you. You are nothing but dirt, while Kovu is the sun.
She then walked back over to Vitani and fell to the ground again, covering her face with both her paws this time.
Kovu, my son, my son.
Mother, can't we go get him? I want my brother to be safe, or at least back here with us.
Oh, Vitani, I wish we could, but Kovu went willingly with Simba. This is Kovu's plan.
Vitani started. What? Mother? Why? What do you mean it was Kovu's plan?
I could see the gears moving in Kovu's head while I was hiding in the grass after I found them, and I was too late. I was frightened, but he was brave and didn't run. Why else wouldn't he run home? It was simply out of my claws when Simba took Kovu. Simba must have pitied Kovu when he asked Kovu to come with him. I couldn't kill Simba myself. His royal lionesses were there to protect him. Kovu's earning Simba's trust. That is what he's doing, and when he's ready, he'll strike for us when Simba least expects it. He's such a smart boy, outwitting Simba. That fool king's pity will be his undoing. His heart is weak.
Pity? Trust? What? Simba hates us. To him, we're the scum of the savannah, just like he is. Why would he care at all about Kovu? But mother, I thought you said Simba was a cub killer.
Zira gathered Vitani into a pause. Are you doubting Kovu and his plan? Huh? No, mother. She knew better than to hesitate with a response like that. She even looked around for Nuka, but he had made himself scarce. Kovu knows his true family, Vitani. He knows his plan in life. Kovu is the chosen one, Zira continued. And his destiny runs in his blood. The Pride Lands will be his and mine and yours again, and our sacrifice here will make us stronger.
I wonder why Simba didn't kill Kovu. If I was Simba, I would have. When Zira tipped up Vitani's chin and searched his small face, she blurted, Mother, you're right. How could I doubt Kovu? Zira nodded and licked her daughter's cheek.
You know, I'm always right, Vitani. You trust Mommy.
She squeezed Vitani harder. Vitani smiled when her mother licked her cheek again, but the uncertainty still lingered in the back of her mind. I sure hope you can deliver then, Kovu. We're all counting on you. You're the chosen one, just stay safe. Oh, great kings, keep him safe. Why'd Mother let Simba take me? Why'd she push me towards him? He could have killed me. Doesn't she love me anymore? Did I disappoint her by running off? Am I being punished? Why'd she risk my life? Oh, what's going to happen to me? Are they going to kill me at Pride Rock? Is that what's going to happen? Kovu was furious with his mother and in shock. The way she hadn't given a single thought about pushing him towards Simba when the king had demanded the payment confused Kovu. He didn't understand how someone as cautious and leery as his mother could give him to the enemy like that. He'd expected her to show up and stand between him and Simba and kill the king, if anything. By the time his enemies brought him to the heart of the Pride Lands, Pride Rock, he thought he was going to die of fear. Simba? The lioness who was watching Kovu asked when the king moved to the side of the path and started to let the lionesses pass. The big lion, with his air's scruff in his mouth, cleared his throat and gestured with a nod that they should continue on to Pride Rock. Kovu saw the anxiety in Kiara's eyes. He knew immediately that Simba was going to punish his daughter for straying from home. He's going to punish her, like Mother's gonna punish Nuka for letting me go off on my own. I wish I hadn't gone off by myself. I wish she had just taken me home. Come along, Kovu. It's okay. The pale-furred lioness nudged Kovu forward. Why am I here? Why did Simba take me instead of killing me? This isn't my home now, is it? Kovu looked up and gaped at the rocky behemoth before him. He had heard stories from Vitani that Pride Rock dwarfed everything for miles in every direction, but he hadn't believed her. Does Vitani know yet? Will she miss me? Will she want to come and get me? It's big, isn't it? Kovu looked up. All the other lionesses had continued walking. The light-furred lioness who had spoken to him was smiling slightly. All he could do was nod. Do you know who I am, Kovu? She asked. He shook his head. I'm Nala, Kiara's mother. That must mean you're Simba's queen. His mother had told him that Nala was responsible, ultimately, for Scar's murder. As a young lioness, Nala had been displeased by Scar when he had wanted her and had left to find a better mate, and by a miracle, she'd found Simba and had brought him home to the Pride Lands. Simba had run away from home as a young lion, forfeiting the throne, but had returned and demanded that his uncle step down or die. His mother had scorned Nala for rejecting Scar. Nala's smile widened enough that it began to show in her blue-toned eyes. You'll be fine here, Kovu. I think you'll like it. Here, you'll be safe. She nudged him again. Come on. Let's go rest at Pride Rock. There were more lionesses there, and they all looked up when Nala entered the cave with Kovu at her side. The lionesses, who had been with Simba, had spread out to create a flow of information reporting what had happened that day. At that point, an old brown-furred lioness came up to Nala, followed by the meerkat and warthog Kovu had seen earlier. Mother laughed when she said Simba was raised by a meerkat and a warthog. It probably doesn't make him much of a lion then, I guess. I'm so glad you found Kiara. The old lioness crinkled and arched her brows anxiously. I wish I could have helped. No, it's okay, Sarabi. You need to rest. Did Simba stay behind with Kiara? Nala nodded. He's talking with her. She then added, We ran into Zira today when we were looking for Kiara. Nothing bad had happened, but long story short, Kovu will be living with us from now on. The meerkat was frowning hard at Kovu.
So why did Simba take in Zira's kid?
He crossed his thin, furry arms.
He's, one of those outsiders, right?
Sarabi crouched down carefully and looked at Kovu. I'm sure Simba has his reasons, Timon. Without knowing it, Kovu shrunk back and hid behind Nala's leg. He remembered hearing the old lioness's name from his mother. Sarabi had been Mufasa's queen. His mother had told him that Sarabi had hated Scar and had conspired to kill him. You're safe here now, Kovu. Don't be afraid. The way the old lioness smiled surprised Kovu. Not in the way that his own mother smiled at him, but much more softly.
Oh, he's a nervous little guy, isn't he?
The warthog crooned.
He's really going to live here with us?
Nala nodded. Yes, Pumbaa.
Well, maybe this one won't run off,
Timon muttered with a snort. Could I just run away? Could I get away? Would they let me go if I asked? Should I ask? Did Mother want me to come here for a reason? Why? Maybe Mother just doesn't want me. Grandma Sarabi! Nala turned when Simba returned with his daughter. Kovu was stunned that father and daughter were both smiling, and Kiara didn't have a scratch on her. Kiara ran over to Sarabi, who nuzzled the cub. How are you, little mischief maker? Kiara giggled. I'm fine, Grandma. Sarabi chuckled. You're your father's daughter. I'm just glad she has actual parents to look after, Timon remarked. He gave an exaggerated shiver. Wouldn't want to raise another cub again.
But Timon, we got 2 cubs to look after now,
Pumbaa remarked, which made the meerkat groan. Kiara glanced nervously over at Kovu, but she quickly looked away. Kovu continued to watch her fidget under his gaze. Did I really scare you earlier, little Pridelander? We should let your parents talk privately for a moment, Sarabi told Kiara, smiling at Simba and Nala. The old lionesses started to walk away. You can tell me about your day. Kiara leapt after her. Okay, I found this cool butterfly today. You should have seen it. The pair walked off to the back of the den, leaving Kovu with Simba and Nala, who asked the king quietly, Everything all right? Simba nodded. I'm just glad she's safe. Who knows what could have happened if we hadn't gotten there. And Simba then noticed Kovu and broke off into an awkward silence. Kovu looked down. Again a shudder of fear came over him, reminding him that he was in the heart of his enemy's land. All after seeing them talk so casually to one another. He wanted to run and hide, but there was nowhere to go. I'd have to guess that Kovu is hungry, Nala remarked. Are you hungry? Kovu looked up briefly. He stammered hoarsely. Yeah? He looked down again. I haven't eaten anything for more than 2 days now, and I'm still thirsty. I'll go find him something, Simba said. He quickly turned and walked out of the cave. Who knows what could have happened if we hadn't gotten there in... Kovu looked down. What did that mean? Did Simba think he would have harmed Kiara? He'd been taught to hate Simba and his family, but Kiara was just a cub, a girl cub. She'd been easy to intimidate, but harming her hadn't even crossed his mind. Was Simba worried about what would have happened if his mother had found them first? He was almost sure that his mother would have harmed Kiara, but he wasn't sure why Simba had just asked him for his name. Here I am, having been given to Simba by my own mother. And Simba's even getting me food? Am I dreaming? Maybe that's what this is. One horrible flip-flop nightmare. He should be back soon, Kovu. Kovu nodded and looked up as Nala smiled and stepped away from him. She went over to her daughter and Sarabi, while Kovu moved closer to the entrance of the cave and huddled against the cool stone wall facing out from the wall. It felt safer. The lionesses in the cave were lying down. He blinked and observed for a moment. They groomed their neat chests and forelegs with all the leisure in the world that their life in the Pride Lands afforded them. Nala laid down and groomed her daughter, who had a wide, pleased smile on her muzzle. His mother had told him to hate these lionesses. But so far, he hadn't found any real reason. They're kind of fat and slow and indifferent. Well, that's it. They haven't been cruel at all. Then his thoughts turned, and the voice in his head sounded vaguely like his mother's. Scar's dead because of them. Simba killed Scar, remember that. I must be here for a reason. He laid down and rested his chin on his crossed paws. He was exhausted. His heart hadn't stopped fluttering in his chest. Nearly jumped out of his skin when two big paws appeared. Simba dropped the fat rodent in front of Kovu and took a step back. And there you go. Enjoy. Kovu looked up. He wanted to speak, to ask all the questions that had coursed through his head. Why'd you take me from my mom? You're enemies. We are enemies. I don't understand. Why am I not dead? But he couldn't ask. As it was, Simba looked away. The big lion opened his mouth, but closed it again. When he looked at Kovu again, he nodded. I hope you're happy here, Kovu, he said, before turning and walking further into the darkening den. He walked to the center of the den, where Nala and Kiara were waiting for him. All around, the lionesses appeared to be getting ready to sleep. They don't even sleep at the same time here. While the Pridelanders only had to walk out of their den for food, the Pride had always done their best hunting under the veil of night. Kovu turned to his food. The rodent's mouth was open and gaped at him with its black, beady eyes. He sniffed it and took a bite and chewed. I hope I can be happy here. I might be here a while. End of chapter 3.